Are you happy? I wasn't. That would have been my honest answer if you had asked me a year ago. Back then, I felt like I was stuck in a tiring loop, overwhelming work, relationships that didn't feel right, and even the smallest joys seemed to fade away. I woke up every morning with no motivation, just pressure and emptiness surrounding me. But then I asked myself, how can I be happy? I started searching for answers, reading countless articles, talking to people, and observing those who seemed calm and content. Little by little, I realized that happiness doesn't just appear by luck, it's something we can actively create. So listen and take note of how I became happy. These are the steps that changed my life. 1. Learning to think positively. At first, practicing gratitude felt a bit awkward, almost like a cliche habit from a self-help book. But I gave it a try. Every night before going to bed, I wrote down a few small things that made me feel good, like having a warm meal, lying in a cozy bed, or simply receiving a message from a close friend. Surprisingly, after keeping this up for a few weeks, I realized I already had more to appreciate than I thought. Instead of focusing on what I lacked, I began to notice what was already present in my life. Another issue was that I often got caught up in negative thoughts. Whenever I made a mistake, I would criticize myself harshly, repeating things like, "I'm terrible," or "I'll never make it." Those words drained me and killed my motivation. But once I became aware of it, I started changing the way I talked to myself. When the thought, "I'm not good enough," popped up, I reminded myself I'm still learning and improving little by little. It may sound simple, but it felt like putting on a new pair of glasses. Suddenly things looked lighter, and I stopped tearing myself down. What freed me the most was letting go of constant comparison with others. I used to look at my friends, some advancing quickly in their careers, others achieving success early, and wonder why I wasn't keeping up. Now I compare myself only with who I was a year ago. When I see that I've stuck to a new habit or solved a problem that once held me back, it's clear I'm moving forward. That realization brings relief without the pressure of having to catch up with anyone else. Or 2. Living true to myself. I asked myself, what truly matters most to me? After much reflection, I realized it was creativity, kindness, and freedom. Once I understood that, I started rearranging my life to align with those values. I picked up writing again after neglecting it for years. At first, it was just jotting down a few lines in a journal about my day or random ideas that came to mind. But the more I wrote, the clearer my thoughts became and the better I understood what I actually wanted. Writing also helped me record small changes in my life, and when I looked back, I saw I had made more progress than I gave myself credit for. Just as importantly, I learned to make choices that truly fit me. Instead of doing something just because it's what others expect, I asked myself, do I really want this? Making those choices wasn't always easy, but it felt more authentic. I no longer had to pretend or stretch myself thin to please everyone. I also allowed myself to enjoy small everyday pleasures, reading a few pages of a book, taking a walk after dinner, or listening to a favorite song. These things may seem ordinary, but they became a steady source of energy that kept me grounded and balanced. As for weaknesses, I stopped avoiding them. For example, public speaking used to terrify me. I'd freeze and forget everything I wanted to say. Instead of running away, I joined a practice group. At first, I stammered through every attempt, but the more I showed up, the more confident I became. I realized weaknesses aren't something to hide. They're opportunities to grow. 3. Surrounding myself with the right people. I gradually noticed how much my mood was shaped by the people around me. There were times when meeting certain people left me drained and heavy instead of happy. On the other hand, just a short conversation with someone positive could lift my spirits instantly. Realizing this, I began to filter my relationships, spending less time with those who brought negativity and more with those who made me feel respected and heard. I also made an effort to find small communities where people shared similar interests and a positive outlook. For example, I joined a small creative group. At first, we simply exchanged ideas and gave feedback, but over time, it became a safe space where I could speak freely without fear of being judged. There, I found like-minded friends, and that sense of belonging turned out to be invaluable. I no longer felt alone in my thoughts and passions. 4. Taking care of my mind and body. I changed the way I looked at things. Getting enough sleep was no longer a luxury, but something essential for a healthy life. When I went to bed on time and slept well, I woke up with a clear mind and handled everything faster. Eating better, less greasy food, more vegetables and water, together with moving my body a little every day, made me feel lighter and full of energy. Exercise stopped being about changing how I look and became about actually feeling strong and alive. I also started stepping away from social media whenever I noticed myself falling into comparison or self-doubt. At first, it was tough because the habit of reaching for my phone was so ingrained, but once I turned it off, I had more time for real things: reading, walking, or simply sitting quietly. Those small pauses helped me reconnect with myself and see more clearly what I needed and wanted. 5. I learned how to give. In the past, I used to think happiness only came when I achieved something for myself. But then I realized that the warmest, most joyful moments often appeared when I helped others, sharing a meal with a friend, comforting someone who was sad, or simply smiling at a stranger. These small acts didn't cost much, but they gave me a deep sense of connection and meaning. When I gave my time, my care, my kindness, I received more than I expected: trust, joy, and a fuller heart. I discovered that happiness doesn't always come from getting more, but often from giving more. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, please give it a like and subscribe to support the channel. Your support means the world and helps me keep creating more content for you.